Hello folks, back at you for another one. Joe Lang here with Team Meat in the Freezer, bringing you a special treat this evening. We're going to do some crispy fish tacos. That's right, tacos with fish. If you haven't tried it, you should give it a try. And what it is, this is a great recipe that I do at home. You can use any fish for it, but of course the more delicate the fish. So today I'm going to be using striped bass fillets. These are hybrid striped bass from Lake Oconee, Georgia. You can tell by the red meat. Anybody familiar with striped bass? We may have some white bass mixed in. But what I'm going to do first and foremost, I'm going to go over the ingredients for you so you can get them get your mind wrapped around that. Then I'm going to prepare these fillets. So they're already boneless fillets. I did with an electric knife. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the red meat off the back side. It's got a little bit of a strong fishy flavor. It's only about a 1/4 inch deep in there, whatever. I'm going to fillet that off of there just because some of my guests don't really like that fishy taste. So that's a tip for you there. But what you're going to need is, we're going to be eating a soft tortilla shell, flour tortillas. We're going to be using, obviously, some taco seasoning. We just got some McCormick here, any of your regular. And get the spice you like. This is mild. You're going to need some sour cream, some fresh limes, avocado if you like avocado. You're going to need some coleslaw, whether you make it homemade, buy it in the bag, whatever. I don't have that just yet. My niece is on the way over. She's bringing that with her. So you want some nice coleslaw. You want to have it in the refrigerator, get it nice and cold. Trust me, you'll thank me for that later. And then of course you're going to want some fish breader, something to use as an egg wash or a binder, which might be like a, you could use yellow mustard, egg wash, anything of that nature. Your favorite fish fry mixture, and then I throw a little Cajun two-step, some of that stale cracker fire seasoning in there. So anyway, you make that to your liking, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this process. I'm going to show you on one fillet here what I'm talking about. And like I said, certain fish you don't have to do this on. We've made it with crappies and all sorts of stuff. But a lot of fish like striped bass, white perch, white bass, hybrid striped bass. If you're getting the saltwater side of things, you got redfish and all, they have that red bloodline like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through this, and I'm going to show you what I do. So what I do is I take the knife just under that, and I slip it through as thin as I can, because I don't want to take all the meat away from this thing. And I put my fingers down on it, and I just carefully cut it off like so. See how thin that is? Then I go the other direction. And you're not gonna get it all in one pass. So you come back and you do what you do. Sharper the knife, the better. It's kind of like trimming the silver skin off a backstrap of a deer, for those of you that have done that. And get most of that off. You don't have to get it all off. Okay, actually that's good enough right there. And then what I'm going to do with this fillet is, I'm going to take the, watch how I cut it. I'm just going to cut it in chunks, like diagonal chunks, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide, like so. Okay, so what you have here is nice, clean fish strips, okay? So I'm basically turning a big, thick fillet into a smaller fillet. And the reason for that is I want more surface area on this fish. So when we bread it and fry it, we're gonna put this in a deep fryer. We want to have more breading and more crunch. In other words, we want to put some texture to our tacos. Like I said, these are crispy fish tacos, which everything in the South is fried. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to fry these up, and then when they're all done and fried, we're going to actually chop it up so the breading and the crunch is in the meat that's going to go in our taco. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and finish up these fillets. and the prep work and get the deep fryer fired up, show you our batter, and I'm going to see you back in a couple minutes. Thanks for being here. All right, folks, here we are. I've got all of the fish cleaned up, got it in the bowl. Here's what I got for my binder, for my breading. Got some regular old cheap yellow mustard, some Texas Pete, and a little Cajun two-step. Now I'm going to put this right on the fish instead of putting it in the batter, because with this amount of fish you could get lost in the batter. So I'm going to put a decent amount of two-step in here. Gonna mix it around to your taste. Woo! Don't sniff in too hard when you're doing that. I'm gonna hit it with some Texas Pete. And like I said, this isn't gonna be as hot as you would think, because this is just the binder, okay? And then I'm gonna put good old yellow mustard in there. Now get a peek of that. Now what you do is you say the hell with it. You don't put on rubber gloves. You man up. You get in there. You get it in there. Wash your hands first if you got company. You get it in here like this. You get it in there. I like to do this and let it sit a little bit. You let it sit in your binder while you are heating your grease in your deep fryer. Now let me tell you right now, you could also substitute. Now keep in mind, this is not an exact science. Okay, put your favorite seasons in here, your favorite game rubs, whatever you want. If you want lemon pepper or you want to add a little lemon, you do what you do. You can experiment with it, but I guarantee you, if you do this recipe the way we're going through it, it will not be the last time you do it. So I'm gonna go wash my hands. I'm gonna see y'all at the deep fryer or with the breader here in a few minutes. See you soon. All right, folks, here we are. We've got the fish that's been sitting in our binder for about 10 minutes. We're gonna go with the Zatarain's New Orleans style fish fry. It's already seasoned. It has a pretty good flavor to it. And I've already put some in this Tupperware bowl. Notice I get a bigger bowl than I need. I like to be able to space it out, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the fish in there. And I'm gonna make a mess, which is gonna make my wife upset. And I know I said man up earlier, and I know I got a glove on now, but that's just because I'm trying to do 3 things at once. And there's other ways to do this. You can use the commercially sold breader boxes. You can put it in a Ziploc bag. Whatever you want to do. I'm not going to leave it sit in clumps. I'm going to work it all in. You want to make sure that breading gets good and it's on that binder good. And I'm not being gentle with this fish, okay? It's another reason I like using striped bass. It's kind of a firm meat. It holds together really well. And get this coated really, really well here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all these pieces and I'm going to lay them out. Once they're good and coated, I'm going to lay them out on a cookie sheet for the last 5 minutes while my grease is getting hot. And that's for multiple reasons. One, I don't want them sticking together. I don't want the moisture getting the breading that I have on them like soggy or whatever, to where it just like falls off in the fryer. So I'm going to take all these pieces now, see how they're good and equally coated all the way through. There's not a big wet spot on any of this fish. This is probably about 4 pounds of fish here. And what I'm going to do is I'm fixing to put it on a cookie sheet. I'm going to let it sit for 5 minutes or so until the fryer's hot. I've got it heating outside now, and I'm going to see you back at the deep fryer. Thanks for being here. Alright folks, here we are. We're going in that Bayou Classic. Oh yeah. still golden brown. See how they get crispy already? We gotta fry them till they float. Alright, we're gonna finish these up. I'll see you back in the house. It's like 90 degrees here, plus the fryer is brutal. See you back in the kitchen. Alright folks, it's been about 4 minutes. I want you to look. You see how the grease is slowed down and all the fish is floating. Look how beautiful that is. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. It don't get much prettier than that. By the way, this is also the prerequisites for a great big po' boy sandwich on a sub roll, but we're doing tacos today. So I'm gonna get these, I'm gonna put these on a paper towel to drain. I'm gonna cook the next batch up, and I'm gonna see you back in the kitchen. Let's get it. And just so y'all see all them scraps that I cut off of them fillets, see, those are the pieces we're fixing to make tacos with. See that? That's all them thin pieces. See the difference? That's all that red meat, that dark meat. That makes for a great little snack. Almost like pork skins, but with fish. So nothing goes to waste. Alright, we got our flour tortilla. We got a gold cast iron skillet. Put a little butter flavored spray on there. Got our flour tortilla. Medium high heat. We're gonna let that go on there for about, I don't know, normally it's 30 seconds aside, something like that, depending on how hot it is. And you're just gonna move it around a little bit like this here. Get it softened up and let it brown just a little bit. A little flavor on there. So we're getting there. We're gonna flip it over. See how it's got that brown on it right there? We're gonna let the other side do that. Normally the second side don't take quite as long. You'll notice it starts to bubble up. And then here we go. We're about to take it off. Open that bed. And open it up. Throw it in there. On to the next one. We're gonna get these done. We'll see you at the table. Yeah. It's Mr. Striper. Nice one. Nice chunk. One more. Get in there, buddy. Golly. He did not want to come home, did he?
Did not want to come home.